Welcome back, guys. In this section, we are going to cover standard input. In previous section, we have covered standard output and standard error. So for standard input, we are going to cover some commands such as cat, which concatenate the files, sort, unique, which gets the unique lines, grep, which prints the lines matching a pattern, wc, it prints the new line, word, and byte counts for each file, and head command, which gives the output of the file, and tail is the output of the last part. So head is the first part of the file, and tail gives us the last part of the file. And T, it reads from standard input and write to standard output and files. So let us now jump to our Linux terminal and put these commands into work. So now we are in our terminal and we are going to check our first command, which is cat. You can use cat with the file name for which you want to read the content. In most cases, you can think of cat as being analogous to the type command in DOS. You can use it to display files without paging. Let me give you one example. The file we created in last section was output.txt. If we hit enter, we're going to see the content of the file. Since cat can accept more than one file as an argument, it can also be used to join files together. For example, we have downloaded a large file that has been split into multiple parts and we want to join them back together. If the files, for example, are named with the name of movie.mpeg.001 and then movie.mpeg.002, right, and so on, we can join them in one file using cat command. To do that, we will have to type cat and then type, for example, movie.mpeg.0 and then you put the wildcard. And remember that wildcards are always in order. To do that, you will have to put the greater than symbol and then you can put the file name uh, for in which you are going to join all smaller files and make a one large file. For example, I can give it a name movie.mpeg. So using that, you can join small files into one large file. This is all well and good, but what does this have to do with standard input, right? Nothing yet, but let's try something else. What happens if we enter cat with no arguments and hit enter? Nothing happens. It just sits there like it's hung. It may seem that way, but it's really doing exactly what it's supposed to. If cat is not given any argument, it reads from standard input. And since standard input is by default attached to the keyboard, it is waiting for us to type something. Let us try adding something and then press enter. And it just copies and shows us what exactly we have typed. Next, type control with D. You will have to hold the control key and then press the D to tell the cat that it has reached end of the file. And then you will return back to normal user interface. You can clear the screen. In the absence of file name arguments, cat copies standard input to standard output. So we see our line of text repeated. We can use this behavior to create short text files. Let's say that we want to create a file containing some text in our example. So we can type cat and then greater than file and we can give the name as testfile.txt and hit enter and then we can add some line of text, for example. And then we can press Ctrl D, Right now, our file has been created in the name of testfile.txt. We can use the cat command to read that file, test file, and then hit tab and then see. As you see, that the text we typed was saved in our file in the name of text testfile.txt. Now that we know how cat accepts standard input in addition to file name arguments, let's try redirecting standard input. We can type cat and then less than symbol and type test file.txt and then hit enter. We see that the result is same as passing a single file name argument. This is not particularly useful compared to passing a file name argument, but it serves to demonstrate using a file as a source of standard input. Other commands make better use of standard input, as we shall soon see. Before we move on to our next command, you can check the main page of the cat command and then hit enter. This is the main page of our cat command. You can see all the options and description in this page. To quit the main page, you will have to press Q on the keyboard. So now we are going to talk about pipeline operator. The ability of commands to read data from standard input and send to standard output is utilized by shell features called pipelines. Using pipe operator, this is the vertical bar, the standard output of one command can be piped into the standard output of the other command. Let me show you how actually it looks like. For example, this is command number one, and then you put a pipe, and then you put the second command. So the output of the first command is going to be the input of the other command. To fully demonstrate this, we are going to need some commands. Remember how we said there was one we already knew that accepts standard input. It's less. We can use less to display page by page the output of any command that sends it results to standard output. Let me show you. So we are going to use ls and l. We are going to use directory usr and then bin. And then we are going to put the pipe operator and use less. So we are going to see the long listing of user bin folder with less. If we hit enter, we are going to see a long listing. We can scroll up and down to see the list of files and folders in our folder. To quit, you will have to press Q and you can get back onto the screen. This is extremely handy. Using this technique, we can conveniently examine the output of any command that produces standard input. Let us now talk about a little bit the difference between the greater than operator and the pipe symbol. At first glance, it may be hard to understand the redirection performed by pipeline operator versus the redirector operator, which is greater than sign. Simply put, the redirection operator connects a command with a file, while the pipeline operator connects the output of one command with the input of the second command. A lot of people will try to follow when they are learning about pipelines. Just see what happens if they use command and then greater than operator to the other command. The results could be something really bad. Let us now talk about filters. Pipelines are often used to perform complex operations on data. It is possible to put several commands together into a pipeline. Frequently, the commands used this way are referred to as filters. Filters take input, change it to somehow, and then output it. The first one we will try is sort. Imagine we want to make a combined list of all of the executable programs in the bin folder, and then we are going to take other folder which is user bin and put them in the sorted order and view it. Let me show you how this is going to look like. We are going to type lsl ls, and then we are going to use bin directory. The other directory we are going to use is user bin directory, and then we're going to put the pipeline operator, then we sort them of course, and then view it with less. So once we hit enter, as we can see that all the executables are listed in alphabetical order for both the directories. The first one is bin directory and the other one is user bin directory. So you can view it by pressing down arrow key on the keyboard or page down, and to go up you will have to press page up or up arrow key on the keyboard. To quit you will have to press Q on the keyboard and you are back on the screen. Let us now look into unique command. Unique command is often used in conjunction with sort. Unique accepts a sorted list of data from either standard input or single file name argument. You can check more on man page for unique. By default, it removes any duplicates from the list. So to make sure our list has no duplicates, that is any programs of the same name that appears in both bin and user bin directories. Let me show you how it looks like. We are going to type ls and then sm as before bin folder, and then we are typing usr slash bin, and then we are going to sort, and then we are going to give it unique, and then we are going to check with less command. In this example, we use unique to remove any duplicates from the output of the sort command. If we want to see the list of duplicates instead, we can add -d options in unique. Let me show you how we can do that. By pressing the upper arrow key on the keyboard, you can return the command, and then here you can give space and the option, and then hit enter. It brings all the duplicates on the screen. To quit, you will have to press Q on the keyboard and then clear the screen. Let us now look into WC command. The WC word count command is used to display the number of lines, words, and bytes contained in this file. For example, if we type WC and then look at our previous file, in this case, it prints out three numbers. The first one is lines, the second one is words, and the third one is bytes. Like our previous commands, if executed without command line arguments, WC accepts standard input. The -L option limits its output to only report lines. Adding it to a pipeline is a handy way to count things. To see the number of items we have in our sorted list, we can do this. For example, if we type ls slash bin slash usr slash bin and then give sort command and then unique and then wc -l option. So it gives us number of items what we have in our sorted list. Let me clear the screen. Let us now look into grep command. grep is a powerful program used to find text patterns within files. Let me show you the basic syntax of the grep. You write grep and then you can type pattern, what you are looking for, and then you can type the file name. So this is the basic syntax. When grep encounters a pattern in the file, it prints out the lines containing it. The patterns that grep can match can be very complex, but for now we will concentrate on simple text matches. We will cover the advanced patterns called regular expressions in later chapters. Let's say we want to find all the files in our list of programs that had word zip embedded in the name. Such a search might give us an idea of some of the program on our system that had something to do with file expression. Let me show you how it works. I'm going to bring up our previous command and then I'm going to type grep and then I'm going to type zip. So in this command, we are listing the two directories, bin and user bin, and then we are sorting it, and then we are looking for unique executables, and then we are finding only the executable which contains zip. As you can see on the screen, this is how you can use grep to search for anything in a file or anything in the directory. There are a couple of handy options for grep, such as -i, which causes grep to ignore case when performing the search. Normally searches are case sensitive, and -v, which tells grep to only print the lines that do not match the pattern. To check more about grep, you can find the man page of grep and look for the options that you can use for your needs. To quit the man page, you can press Q on the keyboard. Let us now look into head and tail, which print first and last part of files. Sometimes you don't want all the output from a command. You may only want the first few lines or the last few lines. The head command prints the first 10 lines of a file and tail prints the last 10 lines. By default, both commands print 10 lines of text, but this can be adjusted with the -n option. Let me show you how it looks like. For example, you type head and then -n option and then you type 5. It means it's going to bring only first 5 lines of the file which we are going to look. For example, ls-output.txt. As we have only 2 lines, right? So this is why we can see only 2 lines. We can still adjust it to 1 line, right? We can type only one and then hit enter. As you see, the head command only brought on the screen the first line of the file. Now let us look at the tail command. Tail command also works in a very similar way. We can adjust it, we can remove it here, head and type tail, and then -n option. It means you can put the number of lines you want to display on the screen. I am giving it only one because we have only 2 lines in our file, right? So if I hit enter, we will see the last line of our file. So this is how you can use head and tail command to see first part of the file or the last part of the file, depends how many lines you want to display on the screen in head or in tail. Let me show you how this works when we put head or tail in our pipeline operator. Let me first clear the screen. First, I'm going to type ls and then I'm going to use usr/bin folder, and then I'm going to give the pipeline operator and then type tail dash n and 5. Now as I hit enter, I can see only the last 5 executables in our user bin directory. Tail has an option which allows you to view files in real time. This is useful for watching the progress of log files as they are being written. In the following example, we will look at the messages file in var/log, or we can use var/log/syslog file. If messages is missing, super user privileges are required to do this on some Linux distributions. Since var/log/messages file may contain security information. Let me show you how it looks like. First, let me clear the screen and I'm going to type tail/f var/log and slash messages and hit enter. As you can see, I do not have permissions. I am not able to view this file. So for that, you will have to switch to super user and then you can view the log file. Let me try to switch to super user. So right now we are as a root user, right? So we can type the same command as before, such as tail/f and then var/log/messages and hit enter. So now in this way you can see the if the file is being written in real time. Using the -f option, tail continues to monitor the file and when new lines are appended, they immediately appear on the display. This continues until we press Ctrl+C. So as for now, our file is being written but not really quickly, right? So I can press Ctrl+C to get back to my command line again. To exit from super user, you just have to press exit and it takes back to our normal user. So right now I do not have again super user privileges. So let us now look at the T command, which reads from standard in and output to standard out and files. In keeping with our plumbing metaphor, Linux provides a command called T, which creates a T fitting on our pipe. The T program reads standard input and copies it to both standard output, allowing the data to continue down the pipeline and to one or more files. This is useful for capturing pipeline's content at an intermediate stage of processing. Here we repeat one of our earlier examples, this time including T to capture the entire directory listing to the file ls.txt before grep filters the pipeline's content. Let me show you what exactly I mean. So we are going to type ls and then we are using usr/bin and then we are going to use t and then ls.txt and then we are going to use grep and then we are taking the zip executables in our ls.txt. If I hit enter, I have the similar executables as I have presented in the example earlier. Okay, now it is time to summarize what we have learned in this section. We have learned how to use cat command, which concatenates the files. We can also use the cat command to see the contents of a file. We have used sort command, which is used to sort the lines of the text. We can also use this command to sort the long listing of files and folders. We have learned unique command also, which report the only unique values and it omits the repeated lines or values. We use the grep command, which gets the matching pattern. We have learned the WC, which stands for word count. It prints the new line and it also counts the word and byte of a file. We used head command, which gives the outputs of the first part of the file. By default, it gives the first 5 lines of the file, but you can change the number to 1, 2, 3, or 10 or 20 using the dash n option. And the tail works in a similar way, but it gives the last part of the file and you can change the number of lines you want. For example, by default, it gives 5 lines and you can change it to 1, 2, 3, or 10 by using the dash n option. We have also learned the T command, which reads from the standard input and write to standard output and files. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.